Hello, welcome back to More Fun Fixing It. It's part 3 of the Henry worst recap. Henry didn't do the recap, so it's not his fault, but it's his machine. The worst recap I've ever seen repair video. This is the 3rd part, and I'm hoping to get it fixed in this episode so that this will be the final episode. But you're just going to have to watch and see and find out. If you haven't seen the other 2 episodes, I recommend you go and watch those. So that some of this makes sense. So in the first episode, it was mostly tearing down the carnage that I found inside this machine. And the second episode was more of a cleanup episode with a little bit of retrobrighting. We'll get into the retrobrighting later. There's a bit to talk about in that. And in this episode, I'm going to be putting things back. So I started out by actually cleaning up the old chips. There's 3 chips that have got to go back onto this board. The video encoder chip, the 555 timer chip, and a new op amp. I had a little go at cleaning the op amp, but you can see it's in a really bad state, and there's some bits of something stuck to some of the legs that just won't come off. But fortunately, I've got some new ones of those, so I will look at putting a new one of those in later. So I've put back the video encoder chip first, well, for no other reason than it was closest. And actually, as I stand here and recording this, I can see that there is actually a chunk missing from this chip here. I don't think that's going to affect it, but it could be the reason that this was faulty in the first place. If you remember, the initial fault was the screen was there was some color missing. I can't remember what was missing, but I think it was like a purple hue or something like that, so the green was missing. So it could be something to do with this chip. So after I put that in, I also fitted the transistors around it on this left hand side of the board. And I took the chance to reflow some of the pads. So there was a lot of oxidization that had happened because of the cleaning process that I went through with this. But just reflowing them with flux and some fresh solder sorted that out. So of course I don't need to do anything about these 3 caps up here. These other 2 caps over here by the main coil are on pads that are nice and sound, so they just go back as they were. I also realised that I painted over some of the pads that I shouldn't have done, and yeah, that's not the end of the world. I can just scratch the solder mask away. So there are a few caps that do need to be replaced. This one, I'm putting this one in the wrong place. That doesn't belong there, and it doesn't take me too long to realise, but that is the wrong one, and I've replaced it with the right one. There are 3 caps to be replaced in this area, and the way I'm going to go about this with these missing pads is to use a method that I used in the past when I've done another Amiga 600 repair and replaced pads on that using copper tape, which is fine. In the past I used just copper tape, but this time I'm going to use the solder mask to paint around the copper tape. So I'm putting a big piece of copper tape on and painting a nice big thick border around it just to hold it in place when it gets soldered. I'm using the super powerful UV light that was given to me by Phil Sands, and this solder mask goes off really, really quickly under this light. I'm sure it's got X-rays in it. And then I just need to scratch a little bit of it away to attach a piece of enameled wire to the wire nearby, and then attach a cap. and that's gone really well. The only thing here is that the base of this cap seems to be loose. I'm not sure why, but the cap itself is nice and sound. The plastic base is just obviously not attached properly. I'm not sure why. So I do it again with this one. I then wanted to move away from that area just to let things settle down on that side of the board, and decided to remove the keyboard connector and the audio ports so that I could get good access to these two audio caps over here. There is one pad missing over on this side, and I just needed that little bit of extra room just to run the bodge wire. I've also then put this cap back. That one was nice and simple, no damage around this area. And I've replaced the 555 timer And I've still got to put this one back, so I'll do that one now. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. Now, if you're looking to get some boards made this month, PCBWay have a couple of nice promos on the go. First up, Purple Solder Mask is completely free for the whole of September. So if you fancy a striking new look for your boards, now's the time to try it out. They're also running a big discount on 3D printing in TPU using FDM. You'll get 36% off as standard, and the bigger your print, the bigger the discount. All the way up to 80% off. I'll drop a link in the description if you want to check that out. And while you're over on their site, take a look at PCBWay's 8th Project Design Contest. If you've got something you've been working on, it's a great chance to share it with the community and maybe even win a prize. So whether it's PCBs, 3D printing, CNC or assembly, head over to PCBWay using the link below and take advantage of those September offers. On this chip here, on the op amp, the only pad that I really need to worry about, this one that's missing here, I can just short to that one. Those are connected. But this pad, I need to find out where that one goes to and run a bodge wire. But I want to get the chip in place first and make sure that I can connect all these legs properly and then check where they go to make sure that there's good continuity. And there is the new one. Hope that's the right one. Op amp JFET 4 circuit 14 pin SOIC. Making sure that polarity is right. There's a notch on the silk screen just there, showing where pin 1 is, and the chip's got a nice line on it at one end to show which end is pin 1. It wants to go somewhere like that. That's not bad. If I can pin that down, I'm using a little hook-nosed soldering iron here because it just gives a little bit more fine control. It's not perfect for drag soldering, but I don't intend to drag solder these. I just want to do the pins individually. I'm going to hold it down with my left hand and bring in the solder. That's good. See if I can get that end one. That looks good as well. Now it's tacked down. I can do the rest of the... That looks really good. Superb. Right, let's check these pins and see if they go where they're supposed to go. Right, we'll start with pin 8, which is this one, and it goes, you can see it goes to it, that transistor just below. Excellent. Okay, pin 9 takes a long route around the board over to here. Excellent. 10 makes its way all the way over to here. And I'll be checking from that point there. Perfect. 11, interestingly, goes to this missing pad here. So that might actually help me in later bits, but for now, it should go to R339. Yeah, I think R339 is here on this revision, so I'm going to have to use that to bodge that. Our last one on this top side doesn't have a pad, but it should connect to this pad here on R322. So that should connect to there. There's probably a trace going under here somewhere, but I can just run a bodge straight from there to there. But I'll wait until the actual resistor's in place. So this one runs to a via underneath. Okay, so if I test these on top, I'm not getting continuity, but if I test the pads, I am. One of these is not connected to its pad. I don't know which one, but I'm going to reflow both of them. I wouldn't mind a bridge here, actually. Okay, that's connected. You can see on the PCB Explorer, it's difficult to see where that goes to. There are a few vias around. There's something over here that it might connect to if this matches up. I think it might be, no, it's not that one. It might be this one over here. Yeah. So I'm connecting that via there to both of these pins. That's working, that's good. So pin 5, that one should go down to this capacitor here. Yes. And pin 4 should go to this cap. Just check on the actual pin itself. Pin 3 goes to this transistor pad here. Perfect. Pin 2 and pin 1 should be, I wonder if these are connected internally. They're not, so I'm going to have to bodge across these two. But this one should go to this resistor here. That's good. So I just need to bodge those two there. That one. And I need to run, there's a bodge that needs to run over to here somewhere. Okay, so I need a 10K, well, that looks like 1206 resistor. Now I need to run some wire from this cap here to this leg here. This is going to be delicate. Lovely. Once I've cleaned all the flux off around this area, I'll coat that so that it will be nice and stable. But let's just check that. So it's supposed to connect to this resistor here. Marvellous. Now the only other thing I need to do is connect a wire across these two. Get that one tinned. I could just do that. That's that sorted. All right. So let's get these small components back in. Let's fit these two ceramic caps and this electrolytic, and then fit these JFETs and this transistor. And then we can start talking about this area over here. Flip the board the other way up to make it a bit easier to work on. These are new parts. I didn't salvage these ones. All right, and this one is 100 nanofarad. Right, and the electrolytic is 10 microfarad. Put it in the wrong way around. Why did I put it in the wrong way around? Let's get another soldering iron out now. Stop doing things wrongly. See if I've done any damage to the cap. No, it's fine. Let's do that again. Okay. So I've already got those installed. I just need to put these three back and these two caps, and then this area is done. I've got the other one here. I'm not going to put that on yet. I want to put the middle one on first, and that I've got a new replacement for that, which is a 3906, 2 and 3906. It's probably enough flux here already, but yeah. Everything is there and it's all connected as it should be. Just got to put in 2 caps here now. So this one's not so bad. I can connect that to that one, but I think that this pad and this pad are common. So I can just run, or can put a piece of copper tape over this whole area here so that they're connected that way. And then another piece of copper tape here for this one. I need to be careful or mindful of this wire here. I think that is actually where that goes. Let's check that. It does not. Fairly sure that that was connected to that side. What's this side then? Well, that could have been embarrassing. This cap here is actually turned the other way around on this board. The positive side is over here. This pad here should be common with this one, so they are actually going to be connected together. So I can't run a nice big piece of copper tape across there like I wanted to. This one goes to this wire here. Is this one connected where it should be going? Pin 4 over here, yeah. Oh, we need to clean up first. I do. Turn on the death ray. All right, put this piece of wire through. I think that was cured properly. There we go. That connects down to something down here. But I've got a good connection here, and that connects to that one and that one. So I'm going to try to use this wire in the same way as I use that one. Use my dental pick kit. Let's check for continuity. So this needs to be connected to something down here. Yes. Perfect. Death ray. These are definitely not going to look pretty. There is no doubt about that. It's got that one. Ow, it's hot. Look how strong that is. Picking the board up, holding that cap. The best thing about it, it's the right way round. Somewhere around there. I'm going to try and get this low side in first. Do you know what? I'm actually going to put some solder in there to even it up. Like that. I think that's got one side mostly. Let's just get this side tacked in. Come on, Flux, do your job. I'm not convinced on that side. That's got it. Cool. I've got one to repair right here. C45 or 59 goes everywhere. Goes to there. That should connect to that one. Right. Okay. Hot. Oh, no, no, no. It's the wrong way round. All right. I'm trying to solder it with a piece of bodge wire. Go back to that one. We got one more here and one more here. Last one over here. 170 positive on the left. Well, I think I'm done. I need to put the keyboard connector and the audio connectors back in. Right, it's the next day and it's time to test. I have also removed the RF modulator as well, just because Henry wanted that off, and I wanted to make sure that there was no gunk underneath there that was rotting the board away, and it was actually completely clean. There's nothing under there at all. There's a little bit around the edges of the can itself were corroded, but yeah, not a problem. Came out really nice and clean as well. I did all I did was desoldered the main pins here and then rocked it out on the 3 points, like melted the solder on this one and pulled it a little bit, melted the solder on that one, pulled it a little bit until it just popped out. No problem at all. The keyboard connectors back in, the audio connectors are back in, and it's ready for testing. I'm just going to put it back into its metal shield just because it's got a plastic base on there to insulate it. It's got a little bent up in storage. Here we go, it's going in. There we go, it's a little bent. I'll go back together fine, probably. A nice big hole there in the back for RGB to HDMI, Henry. That's what you want to stick in there. I've never done one for an Amiga 600 actually, so I'll be interested to see what your results are. Okay, let's plug it in. Now, I did test this, but the recording didn't quite work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it on, and then I'm going to cut back to yesterday's footage where you can see my live reaction, but you can't see the screen. I've actually got it connected to capture now, so slight spoiler there for you. But here we go. This has been a lot of work, so I'm hoping it really hoping it works first time. Here we go. We've got signal. Ooh. Oh. Yes. Well, that looks pretty good. I didn't think that was going to work for a second then. It paused at the white screen for a lot longer than I thought it was going to. So other things that I need to test to make sure that this is working before it goes back to Henry are the floppy drive and the IDE drive and the keyboard. Then it can all just go back into its case and be happy. So here's the floppy drive, Henry 600. Pin 1 is here, I think. It says 34. That's confusing. I think that's pin 1. Let's try it. There's not really a lot of damage you can do to a floppy drive by plugging in the ribbon cable incorrectly. This cable needs to be correct, and weirdly 5 volts, 12 volts is on the red cable, 5 volts is on the brown cable, which is a bit counterintuitive, but let's see if it boots from a floppy. I've got a floppy disk here, and I'll cover disk with Blitz Basic 2 on it, just to see if it loads up the menu. Cable's in the wrong way around because the drive is just spinning. It should spin and then stop. So that wasn't pin 1. Just turn that around the other way. There we go. Try again. There we go. Spin and then stop. And then the computer boots and then it starts accessing the floppy disk. Making promising sounds actually. I've not cleaned that or anything. Yeah, straight into this menu. Okay, well I'll need more of a thorough test later on, but I think that's enough of a test for now. I have got a GoTech here with the test kit on it as well. So we've agreed that 5 volts is on the brown one, so that needs to go that way around. There's only test kit on this flash drive. So I've not even got an OLED or anything or a 7-segment display on there, but that should get me in. And I'll just temporarily plug in a mouse so I can control things, and then we can get into test kit. Okay, better test the memory first. It's only 1 meg of chip in here. We've done the floppy drive, controller ports, audio is probably right. So if I turn left off, yay, and low pass filter. Right, so that seems to be functioning. The only thing to test is the keyboard, but I can't test the keyboard until I've got the springs on it. Currently the keyboard is like this, and if you test it like this, I found to my cost, the pads are actually, or the plungers are actually resting against the pads underneath, and it looks like the keyboard is faulty. That definitely didn't fool me at all. Definitely did not fool me in any way, shape or form. So what's next? Let's have a look at the case. Ta-da! It looks a bit brighter, doesn't it? Now, it's not perfect. It's not far off, but there is definitely a slight gradient with it being slightly lighter. This feels almost exactly the same shade. This end here is the same shade as the bottom, but this end is not. This end is slightly, you can see it probably clearer if I do that. You can see that there's a difference between that and the shades underneath. So, I mean, this was basically disgustingly yellowy orange. It was horrible. And it's now pretty close to, let's have a look at this one. This one has been retro, but it's quite a big difference still. But look at this end, there's not very much difference at all, but this end there's quite a difference. But I'm going to give this back to Henry as it is. Right, so it spent days in the sun brighting, and it got to a point where there were less returns for the amount of time that I was leaving it out there. It didn't seem to be moving very much. I think sun brighting can only get you so far. So I went to the immersion method, and I used a weak solution of nice warm hydrogen peroxide and water, and left it in the this was left out for a day in bright sunshine, and this was left out for a day and a half in bright sunshine, and this is where we've got to. I'm pretty pleased with that. So the only other thing is the keys on the keyboard. Let's have a look at those. So here we go. Here are the keys, and they are pretty good as well. They're much better than they were. The space bar had some like shapes where you could see where the keys had been blocking the light in front of it, but that's pretty much gone now. The keys that I rescued and then retrobrighted again, slightly more white. I don't think you'll be able to pick them out. The keys that I ordered, that's those three. These three keys are probably closer, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna go with these three. These three look more in keeping. But I'm going to give them both sets to Henry so he can change them in and out as he sees fit. And he's got some spare springs and plungers here as well if he ever needs them. So they're going to get mixed in with those now, so I won't even know which ones they are. Oh, I won't remember. But the next thing to do is put the keyboard back together, actually. Let's do that now. One lost. Right, so I'm going to have to use your stash of springs, Henry. Sorry. It will turn up on my workbench in 6 months' time. Or it'll be in here. Or on my garden. Here is one I prepared earlier. That entire row. No. Get these springs separate because they are different. Not sure if that one is, but I think it is. Lovely. All right, let's get that one out of the way because it's embarrassing me. Before I put that in here, I need to put the LEDs back in. Left the screw in there. And this goes in there like that. Ta-da! Right, that's the keyboard done. Right, now that the keyboard is rebuilt, I can reconnect flash floppy Gotek. Why has nobody made a Raspberry Pi version of Gotek yet? That's what I want to know. That would be amazing. I know that ARM chips are not exactly expensive. It'd be really nice if you could just have a little carrier board and you just plug in a Raspberry Pi as you require. Right, that should be enough to give us a good test of the keyboard. And I haven't tested the keyboard properly yet. I did test it by plugging it in and finding out that it was basically working, but all the keys were being pressed at the same time. So let's try it. Oh, we've missing a row. Now the cursor keys were, when I tested it before, they were working. So I'm just gonna reseat this ribbon and try. That's not good. Let's just try this other spare Amiga 600 keyboard. It's not spare. Yeah, that one's working. Yep, that's working fine. So it's not the computer, it's the keyboard. I've just given that edge connector a very, very mild and light pass over with some very non-abrasive tissue. No. Same as before. A very slight kink in the end of this ribbon cable. Yeah, moving this connector around, I can probably get one of these keys to work. Yeah. F9 is not working now. Sadly, I think this is down to a dodgy keyboard membrane. And it's on the end of the connector, so I'm not sure if there's anything can be done about that. Okay, there is a strip. I'm going to try just trimming a bit off the end of this, because there is a strip of good graphite. I'm only going to take a mil off of it. Like that. Perfect. We've got F9. We've got the function keys. This row has been missing. And it's there now. Yes. Perfect. Yes. Brilliant. Well, I didn't know you could do that with an Amiga keyboard. I know it's possible with a Spectrum one and sometimes a bit dodgy, but winning. Right, whilst we've got this here, balance that there. I want to put a hard drive in here just to test the IDE interface. This is borrowed out of that other machine. It's got Workbench 3.1 on it, and I haven't got the right ROM in here, but it should still boot to something. In fact, let's just do that, see what happens. And yes. Okay, yep, that's working as expected. Brilliant. There we go. It is done. Now the case clips are still broken, but I'm going to let Henry fix that because it's not my favourite job in the world. And Henry's got his own 3D printer, and he's quite a handy fixer. You should come and see his. He's got his own Henry's Restorations channel in the Retro Hardware Discord, and he puts up all of his many amazing repairs on there as well. So yeah, that's come and see Henry on there. I found this. Has it got anything in it? Yes, it does. We're going to need a stick. Fire it up. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to hear the audio, so it's not going to be as exciting for me as it is for you. Remember that going. Oh, the controls are so sluggish. Oh, that's the other one. Come on. We didn't need outrun. This joystick is absolutely killing my hand. Hey, first, how did I manage first? Right, that's it for this one. I think I'm happy to send this one back to Henry in its much improved current condition. I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. Oh, I've got to put all this, there's all the screws are missing from here. I've got those as well. That'll firm things up a bit. Yeah, this is a lot better than when I first got hold of it. But yeah, thanks Henry, really do appreciate you letting me loose with this one. It was a great fun project. I've just realized that the eject button needs retrobrighting as well. That's still, well, Henry can do that. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my other channel, More Fun Making It, where I make things instead of fixing things and other things as well. And if you come and join us on the Retro Hardware Discord, you'll find a really warm and welcoming community there. It's not like other social media. It is a safe place for people. I work very hard to make sure that everybody feels welcome and safe there. Don't forget to have a look at my Patreon, where you can find exclusive content on there, even on the free tier. So you don't need to pay anything to get some of that content. If you do pay for one of the paid tiers, then you'll get early access to my videos and a Patreon exclusive Retro Hardware Discord channel, so that we can talk about the other people. Right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Oh my God, 3 episodes. It's like going back in time. This is Spectrum from Hell all over again.